Hey guys, welcome back to Walkin Industry. We're a channel dedicated to explore different industry and at the same time we're trying to build a community of knowledge and inspires. And I'm the Walkin representative. My name is Jimmy.
Yo, my name is Anson.
Yeah, today we're going through a very interesting industry, which is music. And here sitting beside me is Mr. Nicholas.
Hello.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. And could you kindly begin by sharing some background about your career in music industry?
Sure. Thank you guys for having me. My name is Nicholas Collier. I've been making music in some which way or form for the better part of about 15 years now. I've started by doing like school band all through elementary, middle school, high school, alto saxophone. Then in high school, I kind of got bored of that, got introduced to jazz, but eventually got introduced to DJing electronics and started to do production and DJing and stuff all the way up until now. So because of that, I was pretty fortunate to get linked up with a couple friends, one friend of which was an artist that was a singer-rapper, and with him we were able to get into the festival circuit. So we did South by Southwest from 2016 to 2018, A3C or AC3? A3C. It's an Atlanta like hip hop festival and stuff. Once or twice before, we've done Canadian Music Week a few different years. We were also allowed and invited to do Lollapalooza for a few after parties and stuff like that. And it's been a fun time. I guess for like music credit, I've done support for Ghostface Killer, Joyner Lucas, Go Pele, Duckworth, 21 Savage. So yeah, just in show support stuff and done backing and all that. So yeah, it's been good.
Do you want to share some of your experience, like starting from your first time making the music until now? In education part, we talk about philosophy. Yeah, so you want to also share about your musical philosophy, or like how do you view the word music to you?
Oh, okay. Well, I guess how I look at music is just anything that makes somebody move or anything that like conveys an emotion that's through like the audible type of sound stuff. So music comes in a lot of different forms. We have a plethora of genres and stuff to kind of describe all these types of music, but really quintessentially, like you can walk outside and just listen to the rhythms naturally occurring around you, and that is some form of music. For me, when I first started to make music, I was bored of what was on the radio, and by the time I started to really pick up DAWs or digital audio workstations and stuff and DJing, I kind of got a little bit, how do you put it? I kind of felt a little bit exhausted with the idea of using kind of your standard like instrument and stuff. So I was looking for different ways to kind of build on that, and just was kind of throwing stuff at a wall and seeing what worked.
Just a quick question. Do you think is there like a limit of music in your experience? Do you think is there boundaries for music?
Boundary as in the type or how to make it, or
like creativity, or like how different things inspire you to make music?
Well, of course, like everybody has their own boundaries, their own parameters and whatnot. And I think the thing to be mindful of if you are really patient with trying to build up your artistry is trying to break down those boundaries and barriers. So that doesn't mean that you have to say be a pop artist and now start to make like interpretive jazz or anything like that, but it just means that if you find a genre that you're into and a style, explore and dig deep and see how far you can push the boundaries and the envelope of what your style and genre and kind of key feel and vibe that you bring to your productions and stuff can entail. So
totally understood. What's your favorite genre in music?
This is a tricky question because I don't and it's about to sound mad pretentious, but I don't listen to music in the same way of well, I do listen to the stuff I make, but I listen to quite a bit of music, and I'm constantly always just kind of digging for samples, digging for inspiration. So it's not that I listen to one particular genre all the time. I'm constantly bouncing around and stuff. But I guess like in recent time, I've really been enjoying like abstract hip hop. When I say abstract hip hop, it's like the ideal of like drumless beats and stuff like that. So like Griselda, like shout out to them, West Side Gun, Conway the Machine, that whole style. And then also I really enjoy kind of the DIY style of like production, like that you see people like Knowledge that really popularized and has made like a whole plethora of different beat makers that are out here trying to do the same. So they pull from found sounds to other things, and it's like a big collage of what their influences are all in the beat. So I guess that stuff, and still like, you know, like a good house track and stuff.
So do you think that the thing you listen to will influence the work you produce? Yeah, because academically, we always say that when we're looking through others' research journal, we will probably plagiarize. Does that really appear in music industry, or you think there's like unlimited creativity in music, and there should be like the word plagiarize or plagiarism in music industry?
There definitely should be the word. Plagiarism is a big part of music, and not in a bad way, but it depends on how far you push it. Like a lot of songs today that you hear that are popularized are derivatives off of older songs that were popularized before, and a lot of them are like reinterpretations, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine. But I think there's a line that you need to kind of be mindful of with. Do you acknowledge that this was your influence and just run with it, or do you try to pretend as if you made it yourself and hide the influence? And that's something that I do see is prevalent in the music industry and stuff. There's a lot of artists that, you know, sampling is a big part of a lot of production now, and there's a whole conversation that could be for a whole other podcast about like just the ethics of sampling. But plagiarism, it most definitely and stuff exists, and it's okay in some regards and not good in other regards. So
yeah, I think the word reinterpretation is what really catch my attention, because we often have a lot of music, and I really like Chinese song, and there's like a lot of things that I feel like, ooh, I heard that before. And I think that's very casual and it's normal. It's just, I have to say that humans' creativity may be having a boundary that we haven't get in touch with, but the word reinterpretation just states that how much, to what extent you want to follow up the thing previously made, right? Yeah. So, okay, let's start with the second section of this podcast. We're going to talk about the music production and industry trends. So do you want like to summarize what kind of inspiration about the musical trend in the world?
Like where it's going right now, or
maybe in your whole experience.
In my experience. Well, I think when I first started to make music, the trend was how. What was it? Oh man. the trend was how. At the time, it was like mostly like trap stuff, and I guess that still is prevalent currently, but not in the same way. A lot of it, when I first started to like really get into beat making and production, a lot of people were using FL Studios. Like the biggest people at the time were like Lex Luger and that whole like camp of like 808 Mafia and stuff that were just kind of making things in the box, and a lot of it came from kind of your stock plugins and whatnot, and that shaped the sound and the style that has gone on for the last like 10-15 years to the point of now where you're starting to see people trying to pull sounds from different places. So one trend I guess I've really seen is trying to make tracks approachable, but also to give space for like the artist or the person that is doing like the lyrical content of it, and just keeping things kind of concise and minimal. But one thing I have noticed over the years is that songs are just becoming shorter and shorter, and that ties into something else. But yeah, like everything's kind of getting shorter, and style-wise, things have stayed consistent. But there's been a little bit more exploration with the sound choices, the variations of different variety of sounds that you can use.
Yeah, I think trends in every industry, definitely you're trying to follow up the trend to boost your like probably production sales or like your listeners. So to you, is there any big like challenges when you're trying to follow up the trend of the world music?
Oh, absolutely. It's there's definitely a challenge now, and there's always been a challenge, but I think the biggest challenge now is acknowledging that the best way people will discover your songs, your content, is through bite-sized, very short-form versions of it. We're in the era of TikTok and shorts and reels, so a lot of people are now only producing music for that 15 seconds, that best 15 seconds, and it's cool because it means that there's a lot of people that are out here trying a lot of new and different things and trying to kind of chase after. But what that ends up meaning is like you'll get examples like Steve Lacy. He had the song Bad Habits. Great song, Steve Lacy, amazing artist, but there's footage from his shows where the people that were introduced to that song only know maybe 2 or 3 bars of it, like 15 to 20 seconds.
For me, it is.
Right, and then like he sits there to the crowd, is like, all right, you sing it, and nobody can sing the rest of it. So like you get these weird inconsistencies now with fan bases and people that have only discovered artists because of that 15 seconds, but they don't know like the whole discography, the whole lifetime that they've taken to get to that 15 seconds and stuff. So I think that's it's a tricky trend to master and like manipulate for your benefit.
Recently, not recent, about 5 years ago, 10 years ago maybe, social media is getting boosted. Do you think that also contributed to how competitive in the music industry, or how can producers take that as an advantage and make their work having more sales, or like more people who have become their listeners, potential listeners, I guess?
With social media, it kind of changed. It took a while, but it did change how musicians and artists operate. Now there's less focus on the music itself, but more focus on the brand and your the image that you put out to get people's attention. So there's it's a double-edged sword because there's good and bad with that. The good is music is accessible to everybody, and as it should be. Like everybody should have the right to make music however they see fit. Just have fun and stuff. And of course, everybody has the right to promote themselves. But the bad being that you get an oversaturated market, and one of the aspects of the big emphasis on having a social media presence currently and for the last few years has been the fact that it's taken away the incentive of wanting to sign for a label or looking for labels, and this in turn has hurt labels to kind of give even worse and worse deals, or just some labels have just outright stopped trying to scout and search for people. So it's good because it's opened it up to be a lot more of an open space for anybody and everybody to make stuff and enjoy it and promote their stuff. And it's also, I guess also on the good part is it has taken the power away from labels in a way. So you don't need a Universal or Warner Brothers and stuff to back you to actually do well. There's a lot of really good, thriving, independent artists that are putting up bigger numbers than some of the biggest artists that you know and whatnot. So yeah, there's good and bad with that, I guess.
And just a quick question, what is your favorite food in Taiwan?
Oh man. Ooh, I won't lie. I like luro fan because it reminds me of what my grandma used to make. My wife has this joke saying that my grandma, she saw a picture of my grandma, she's like, grandma looks like a Taiwanese auntie. Same style, same haircut, everything. So luro fan is probably up there. But honestly, guabao. Guabao is... well, there's a teacher right now going to get me a guabao as we speak. So, but guabao is amazing. It's just like a really good, like the Taiwanese equivalent of a hamburger, but I would even argue a bit better.
I agree.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
Yeah. There's a lot of different foods. Tondra being, suijinbao,
That drives me so hungry.
I'm sorry. You asked the question. Like, I'm hungry too. It sounds good.
So if you're outside of Taiwan and you're also a music producer, or even you're not a music producer, come to Taiwan. We got definitely a lot of good food and for you to taste, right, Mr. Collier?
Yes.
Definitely. Just to wrap up for this video, let's give a quick suggestion for the future generation when, like, for those who are heading to the music industry or like heading to music production. Is there any like suggestion or like your advices for them?
Honestly, don't follow trends. Make what you enjoy. Make what you like. And just be yourself. There's a big push for more authentic content. So like the behind the scenes, just showing how you put stuff together, showing the day in the life of like how you came up with the ideals is almost as tantamount as you trying to show off some showy, hyper edited, hyper polished, like, 30-second clip of you like playing the beat type vibe and stuff. But just be authentically you. Don't be afraid of it. Music wise, if you're trying to go for promotion and whatnot, do shows for real. Like a lot of people currently that are doing music are doing it for the sake of like the clout online, but it doesn't translate the best in a live performance. So work on your live show game. Get merch. Start to find ways to implement merchandising into your shows, into your social media presence and whatnot. Because for real, like the music itself, I hate to say it, the music itself is like the last thing and comes last on top of everything else that you have to do. And it's something that even I still neglect, but yeah, just make merch, work on your live shows, be authentically you, and don't spend too much on plugins, man. For real, like you don't need to spend that much on all these plugins. Just buy like a good like compressor, a good like fab filter, maybe Serum, and you're good to go. So yeah.
Well, I think that goes to the end of this episode. Fully credited to Mr. Nick for sharing his musical experience. Well, if you have any questions, just comment below. We'll get back to you as soon as possible.